Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Dean.
And my name is Tyler.
It is champion review time. I know probably some people out there getting kind of what's the word when there's just too much much content?
Fatigue.
Fatigue. Yeah, maybe it's overloaded.
Sensor overload.
Sure. I mean, this is day 3 of us, so
Yes.
but I'm glad you guys are hanging in there. We got some good stuff coming in today. Urgot and Galio, two champions have both received full gameplay updates.
Yep.
So there's a lot of information going on there. But really quick, right at the top, just want to shout out, as always, the YouTube channel. I don't know when new gameplay is going to go up. I haven't recorded anything, and I don't feel like recording anything. Because it's
Dude, the game is so fucking gnarly right now. Yeah, it's hard to want to do that at the moment with the amount of enters and shitters.
And it's
But
like, I also, maybe one thing that you guys can let us know is, do you want to see like ranked gameplay, or do you care if we play normal games? Because like solo queue, with the changes they had on the patch, where if you're dueling with someone, your enemies are should be higher.
Right.
Let us know, because I want to get out some gameplays. I don't know, I'm trying to get some games where we potentially lose, but like good
Close.
losses, it's close.
Those don't even fucking exist, really.
I know it's very one-sided every game. So.
Those only exist, I feel like, when we play fives. That's like,
Yeah.
we just lost a team fight and it's over. Like, I feel like that's the only time it exists. Otherwise, it's you just forfeit before you even get to that point.
So yeah, guys, go ahead and go over to YouTube and search with quotations according to Low Elo. This is what you'll find. Go ahead and sub. Check out the videos. Check out the gameplay. Appreciate it there.
Yeah.
And then also we had it was added to the patch, but it wasn't listed. Something
Right.
we completely forgot about, because I think they mentioned it in like the preseason, way back in the preseason when they were introducing the ward,
like
the
the season
wheel,
preview?
right?
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
so the
That
ward
was
placements.
exactly it.
I have a video I could just show, the one I recorded today. But basically, when you have it's like the quick cast, the indicators where you're like, oh, I can move my mouse, the cursor over to where I want to place the ward. So they added it now. It gives you like a preview of where the ward is. So here I got on the screen. As you can see, I have the cursor over the wall, and it gives me like a little target of where the ward is going to go. 10 out of 10, great thing, because now, you don't have to guess. I've never been able to hit that red
Dude, that one's
side
so hard.
bottom, I'm talking about, the wall.
That one's so fucking hard, dude.
Fucking tough.
Yeah, I the only one I can do consistently is the dragon pit over the back into the bush, but even that is hard. It takes a second. You really have to line it up. So I don't know how people fucking have that shit like on lock, especially for the red side bot river ward. That thing is nuts.
Yeah, so good change. It shouldn't even be an update. Oh, I guess it's an update. They just they goofed, but
Yeah,
good.
They didn't proofread.
Right, they never proofread. So awesome on that one, but let's get into it, guys. So we got Galio up first, and why don't you tell us what Chat GPT told us about Galio?
Oh, man, this is gonna be a good one. It's a long one, so hang in there. Chat GPT says Galio is a tanky mage in League of Legends who is often played in the mid lane or as a support. He has a unique kit that allows him to engage in team fights, protect his allies, and deal significant area of effect damage.
Okay.
In terms of playstyle, Galio is a champion who excels in team fights and is often used as a secondary engage option. He has a variety of crowd control abilities, including his ultimate, Hero's Entrance, which allows him to jump to an ally's location and knock up nearby enemies upon landing. This ability is particularly effective when used in combination with other engage tools, such as a jungler's ultimate or a tank's crowd control abilities. Galio's Q ability, Winds of War, is a powerful AoE spell that deals damage and reduces the magic resist of enemy champions hit by the tornado. This ability is useful for wave clearing and harassing in lane, as well as setting up for other abilities. His W ability, Shield of Durand, is a defensive tool that grants Galio a shield and damage reduction for a short period of time. While the shield is active, Galio can taunt enemies around him, forcing them to attack him and potentially setting up for his allies to follow up with their own abilities. Okay. Galio's E ability, Justice Punch, is a gap closer that deals damage and knocks up enemies in its path. This ability can be used to engage or escape depending on the situation. Overall, Galio's playstyle revolves around setting up for team fights, engaging on the enemy team, and protecting his allies with his crowd control abilities. He is a versatile champion that can be played in a variety of ways, but is most effective when played as a tanky initiator in the mid lane or support role.
I think overall it's
Most of that's right.
pretty close.
Most of that's right. The I don't know about the magic damage shred on Winds
No,
of
that doesn't
War,
exist. No.
but I think that was is that from his old?
Well, we're gonna
No,
find
I don't think
out.
so. Yeah, yeah, we will.
So yeah, we got Galio. Pretty. I haven't seen him in my games recently. He's pretty big in pro play, or maybe not right now, but he used to be.
Right.
Um, Again, received a full on update. Definitely needed it. I. How do you feel about his voice? Do you like the like kind of?
The doofy kind of oafy voice.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I at first I don't think I liked it, but I think I've grown accustomed to him saying some dumb shit like, "I fought a house once. Pretty sure I won." Like that.
Yeah.
That shit makes me laugh. But like, it is kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they've done a good job laying into it. Like when you look at the was it Chicken Wing Galio or whatever the name of that skin is?
Yeah.
They've done a really good job, I think, leaning into it. Birdio, I'm sorry. So I feel like it fits him more than I thought it did originally. When you think about his lore, it kind of fits too because he's just like a stationary stone until activated by surrounding magic because he's made of petrocite.
Right.
So it makes sense he wouldn't be that knowledgeable if he's never awake, really. You know what I mean?
It's true. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, let's just jump into it, man. We'll start with his past versions. See what we got here. Okay, cool.
Past
This is gonna be like a
version.
1-to-1.
Yep, which is nice.
All right, here we
for
go.
it.
His old passive, Runic Skin. Galio gains 50% magic resist bonus ability power. So the more magic resist he has, the more AP he's gonna have.
Yeah, he was originally designed as an anti-mage mid laner.
Man, I will say, I fucking love the way he used to look. Like he actually looks
The
like a
gargoyle
gargoyle
style. Yeah. Now he's more of a statue, or before he was a gargoyle. But they changed part of it too, because now he's like a colossus too. He's not just like a
Right.
average size, like maybe slightly bigger. Like now he's supposed to be colossal, like Cho'Gath almost, and just sheer fucking size.
He looks sweet though. Okay, so very, Riot loves their very straightforward, simple abilities. So let's go
Sure.
move on to his current. I believe it's called Colossal Smash. Yeah.
Yep.
Innate. Periodically, Galio's next basic attack is empowered to have an uncancelable windup and deal 15 to 20, 200 based on level, plus 100% AD, plus 50 AP, plus 60% bonus magic resist. I had no idea it scaled with its bonus magic resist. Modified magic damage to the target and all enemies near them. Colossal Smash can critically strike for 75% plus 35% if for some fucking reason you're building Infinity Edge to all target hit. Yeah, I'm curious what his crit animation is. It's probably wild.
You know what? I don't even know.
Let's take a look. Galio crit animation. Let's see what Google gives me. Okay, so let's see.
There's usually that model website that actually gives you all of their animations.
Okay. Oh, he like
Does he double fist the ground instead of single fisting or something?
he claps. It literally looks like a Malphite W. He claps.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, I didn't know. Today you learned.
Today I learned.
Yeah, he just claps, like brings both hands together and claps. Okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Don't build Infinity Edge, please.
A thing to note about that: if you do build a Sheen item, which I don't know why you would, but I guess you could, the Spellblade does not get converted to magic damage. It stays as damage to primary target and as physical damage as the Spellblade is supposed to. So, just to note, does not get changed like the crit does, because a crit does magic damage. If you, for some reason, have critical strike on Galio, I don't know why you would, but okay.
Cool.
All right. His old Q was called Resolute Smite. And An active ability. Galio fires a concussive blast at the target area, dealing magic damage to enemies hit and slowing them for 2.5 seconds. This was like his main ability, I believe. It was just like a nice little poke. It did 80 to 300 magic damage with a 60% AP ratio and slowed for 24 to 40% based on rank of the ability. Wasn't super mana intensive. It only had a 7-second cooldown. So yeah, pretty standard like poke ability.
Mm-hmm.
His new Q, there's nothing else to say about his old Q, really. His new Q, Winds of War. Active. Galio creates 2 wind blasts, 250 units to either side of him, that arc out before converging to the target location, dealing magic damage to all enemies they pass through. So they make like this little ovally thing. I don't know how you describe
That's
that
fair.
shape. It's kind of like an oval, but it's got points at each side, I guess, huh? And you can be hit by those 2 arcing ovals, kind of like Diana's. Is it her Q? The
Crescent
moon?
strike. Yeah.
The crescent strike. So similar to that. When the blasts meet, the gusts form a tornado that persists for 2 seconds, slowly moving forward and dealing magic damage every half second to enemies within the area. The damage based on the target's health ratio is capped at 150 against monsters. Winds of War will cast at max range if cast beyond that. So the magic damage is 70 to 210 plus 75% AP, and that's just on the initial hit. And the magic damage per tick is 2.5% plus 1% per 100 AP of the target's max health.
Now,
So
I know you remember when that 1%, I swear to God, was like 8%.
dude, it used to be ridiculously.
It was
fucking
at
high.
that one. It was at, I think it was the Worlds, whenever the year he got reworked, they put just when the 2 wins come together, that it was insane.
Yeah, it was the initial hit, fuck ton of damage.
Just right in the middle, and you so it's 2.5, and then if you're building full AP, you're gonna have maybe 500 AP. If you build Death Cap, you could get up like plus 700. So then I swear to God, it was at like 8%.
So,
or you could probably look.
The tornado max health ratio. Let me see.
Yeah, check patch notes because maybe it wasn't 8. It was high though. It
At
was.
one point it was 2%. Let me see if I can find.
It's got to be like 2018. It was. What was it?
Okay. Patch 7.7. Tornado target max health ratio reduced to 6% max health from 9%.
There you go.
Target's max health.
That's fucking insane. So if he had 700 AP, so do the math.
It didn't have an AP ratio back then though, so it was just max health damage.
Really?
They added it when they dropped it to 6%. They added.
Okay, still.
Oh no, I lied. I'm sorry. It had
Yeah.
a 60% AP ratio with 9% max health. That's fucking nuts.
So okay, so just do the math. You're almost one-shotting people if you have
Yeah.
like that. So just do the math. Like Carbon,
Yeah.
do the math. Yeah, it was fucking
That's
stupid, and I
fucking
don't know why in the
disgusting.
world they thought that was a good idea. Good
Yeah, I
job.
don't know. But yeah, dude, that shit was fucking gnarly. So okay.
I like this ability. It's really.
Right.
I mean, Galio's a roamer, right? Because he has semi-global
Sure.
ult. We'll get to it, and most champions like that need good wave clear. So if you like combo that with your passive, and I think the way the passive used to work, it used to like get reduced. I think it had a higher cooldown, but it would get reduced when you hit enemies with an ability.
I
But
think that's how it used to be. Yeah.
so now it's just a flat 5 seconds. That's very quick, and that's
Yeah.
so you just cue the fucking or I think you'd cue the front or the melees, and then you can just walk up and just colossal smash the range, and you just instant wave
Casters.
clear.
Yeah. It was pretty gross.
It's a good combo.
It was. Very
Was it-
good wave clear combo for him.
It still is. I don't know if you build AP on him. Maybe I guess Rod of
No,
Ages would be good.
Yeah, that's probably about the only AP you build these days. Otherwise, you're going to tank, and you're definitely building Abyssal Mask. Well, if you build Rod of Ages, you can't build Abyssal Mask. So, depending on what item you choose, I know Everfrost was still really good on him too,
That's
just for
true.
the extra stun. So you could go Everfrost, Abyssal, and you're just building tank stats after that, anyways. And MR helps you, so
Right.
doesn't hurt to build it.
So moving on to his old W, Bulwark. Active, Galio grants the target allied champion or himself bonus armor and bonus magic resist for 4 seconds, healing himself for the duration every time the target takes damage. Each subsequent healing tick is 20% weaker than the last one.
Jeez.
This was, yeah, I remember, and I know it says the target takes damage. Okay, so yeah, it worked off minions. It didn't have to be a champion. So you could just like walk into a fucking like wave of minions, pop this, and you'd heal.
Yes.
So the bonus resistances was 30 to 90. That's a shit ton.
Right.
And then initial healing was 25 to 85 plus 30% AP. Yeah, it was a pretty OP. And
remember, this version of Galio got 50% bonus AP
magic resist
based off his magic resist. Right, 50% of his magic resist got converted to bonus AP. So when you cast this on himself, he would get 15 to 45 bonus AP. Yeah, just to add to your healing power. So
yeah, it was pretty
disgusting.
Yeah, you just never have to leave. And plus I just remember playing this, and then the old chalice item.
Oh yeah,
what was it? Athene's Unholy Grail.
Athene's Unholy Grail was disgusting before they changed it.
Because that gave like AP, that gave magic resist, mana regen, and you just wouldn't lose lane or leave lane. It was nuts.
Too. Both of those things.
Yeah, both.
You wouldn't lose lane, you wouldn't leave lane.
Let's move on to his current W. This is Shield of Durand.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Passive. Galio gains anti-magic bulwark and restores it after 12 seconds without taking damage. And then the anti-magic bulwark gains a shield that absorbs magic damage. I'll go. So the magic shield was 7.5 to 13.5% of his max health. That's what it is now. So
based on level, yeah.
Current, the more HP, the bigger that shield, magic shield's gonna be. Active, Galio charges up to 2 seconds, slowing himself by 15% and gaining magic damage. Damage reduction in half of that amount as physical damage reduction. Charging increases Shield of Durand's radius, damage, and taunt duration over the first 1.5 seconds of the channel. Shield of Durand can be recast within the duration and does so automatically after or if it is interrupted. Recast, Galio refreshes the damage reduction for 2 seconds and deals magic damage to nearby enemy champions, increased by 0 to 200% based on channel time, as well as taunts them for half a second to 1.5 seconds based on channel time, seconds during which their movement speed is set to a static 60 for the same duration. So the magic damage reduction was 20 to 40% plus 5% per 100 AP plus 8% per 100 bonus magic resist. And then the minimum damage of the taunt itself was 20 to 80 with a 30% AP ratio. And then the maximum was 60 to 240 with a 90% AP ratio. And forgive me, I didn't read the physical damage reduction on the W. 10 to 20% plus 2.5% per 100 AP plus 4% per 100 bonus magic resistance. So it's like the magic resistance scales off. It scales with everything.
Off exactly. It's still a viable stat to build, and the only thing, and I didn't see it noted in here. He is unable. I guess he's technically grounded.
Yes.
When he's using this.
It wasn't always like that because you could flash taunt, and that was fucking gross. That was
so fucking broken, dude. Oh my god. Oh, it just says he's locked out of attacking or casting. I guess he's. I don't know. He's grounded, but it doesn't say he's grounded.
Yeah, 100%. He can't flash. He can't do anything else.
There's no dash, flash, nothing. Like you're stuck there. You can't rocket belt. Like you're just doing your damn thing until you're done. So either you let go in Zonias, you can do that, but you have to let go of the taunt before you can do anything else.
It gives me like this. This ability doesn't work like this anymore. But when Rise could ulti with Hourglass.
Oh yeah,
it kind of gives me the same like OP vibes or something like that. I don't know. It's a weird interaction, and I'm glad they got rid of it because that shit was way OP.
I know they really wanted it because it made for some flashy gameplay, but the problem was it was fucking way too goddamn strong. So cool. I guess we'll move on to his old E, which was called Righteous Gust. It was an active. It had actually quite a large range, 1180. That's pretty far. Galio unleashes a gust of wind in the target direction, dealing magic damage to enemies hit and leaving behind a directional draft for 5 seconds. Allies who step on the draft gain bonus movement speed if they travel in the target direction. Magic damage was 60 to 240 with a 50% AP ratio, and the bonus move speed was 30 to 50%. This skill is partially why Skara really tried to make him a support. Skara was known for trying to make Galio support viable and work. And like all the things are there, it just didn't fucking work.
It's an okay. It was an okay ability. It's just like
It just helps you stick to champions. That's all it did. He's got a slow and a move speed bust. It just helped for like gap closing and just helping you stay on top of what was probably a lot of assassins like Kassadin that were popular back in that time too.
Mhm.
So, excuse me. His new E is called Justice Punch. Again, it's a gap closer, as ChatGPT told us. Justice Punch is also an active. During the cast time, Galio steps backward in the opposite direction. He then dashes to the target location until he hits an enemy, champion, or terrain. He dashes for 650 units. Galio deals magic damage to enemies he passes through, reduced by 50% against non-champions, and knocks them up for 3/4 of a second, as well as reveals them for the same duration. Justice Punch will cast at max range if cast beyond that. Magic damage it deals is 90 to 250 plus 90% AP, which means that for non-champions that's cut in half, which is 45 to 125 with a 45% AP ratio. It does have a slight cast time. It's almost a half second, 0.4 seconds. It does move very quickly once it goes off, though. So I know the big counterplay to this, if you're trying to prevent a Galio from getting away, is if you think he's going to use it, flash in front of him because he's going to step backwards and he'll just slam into you. He might knock you up, but he's not a very fast champion, so he's probably not running away from you from that point.
No, yeah, just the way his kit works now is so fucking nice. Just like you can E in, get the knock up. While they're knocked up, you channel the taunt. So the longer taunt them, and then pop the W right in front of you, and they just take a burst of damage.
Pop the W, Justice Punch, and then you drop the Q.
Yeah, and the passive. You can throw in the passive, everything there. Yeah, it's a good combo.
I said Justice Punch. I meant
Colossal Smash.
Colossal Smash. That's what I meant. His skill names are kind of
right.
I don't know. Maybe it lays into the fact that he's a big dumb oaf. Like Justice Punch sounds ridiculous, but like also Galio sounds ridiculous. So like it kind of fits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. All right, let's move on to his ulti.
There you go.
Idol of Durand. So active, Galio turns into a statue and channels for 2 seconds, gaining 50% damage reduction and taunting nearby enemies. Duration cannot be reduced until interrupted or a unit until the channel ends. Galio bursts out of his statue from form when the channel ends or is interrupted, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies increased by 10% for each basic attack received from taunted enemies, maximum 80%. And then it says Idle Durand's channel cannot be canceled by issuing Galio movement commands during the first quarter seconds if at least one enemy is affected. For the channel duration, Galio can use summoner spells and active ability items with no cast animation attached, like Ignite. Okay. Minimum damage, magic damage, was 200 to 400 with a 60% AP ratio. And then the bonus magic damage per hit was 20 to 40 plus 6% AP. And then the maximum, based on how many people are, touching
right,
360 to 720 with 108% AP ratio. So if you get a 5-man taunt,
nuke.
Yeah, you're gonna nuke them.
Jesus Christ! There's a little video. I want to watch a little video of how it works. I haven't seen it in forever. Oh wow, it was a fat fucking circle.
The areas. I mean, I guess how wide is? Let's see.
Looks a little bit bigger. It says
600 by 575.
So the taunt radius was 575. The damage radius was 600.
Got it.
His current taunt radius, 350 based on channel time. So I mean, like half, a little more than half.
They had to make it bigger because it was an ultimate.
Oh yeah,
or
sure.
They reduced it, I should say, because it's a basic ability now.
Also, he can move while he casts now too. We couldn't do that before, so cool.
All right, so yeah, let's move on to probably
Hero's entrance.
his like we like to talk about game changing alts. This is a big one. Hero's entrance. Active Galio prepares to make an entrance, channeling for 2 3/4 seconds and designating the target allied champion's location at the time of cast as his landing spot. Additionally, he resets Shield of Duran's passive shield for himself and grants it to all allied champions within the area for 5 seconds. I didn't realize it gave it to everybody. I thought it was just the target he's jumping to.
That's what I thought too.
Interesting. After channeling for 1 1/4 seconds, he gains crowd control immunity for the remaining duration, becomes untargetable, and leaps into the air for 0.85 seconds before dashing to his destination over 1/4 second. Afterwards, he lands and becomes targetable again, dealing magic damage to all enemies upon impact, knocking them back 100 units over 3/4 seconds, and remaining in place for 0.4 seconds. Magic damage is 150 to 350 with a 70% AP ratio. So, as Chat GPT, so accurately put it, you combo this with he's a secondary engage.
Yes.
Jarvan, Camille, anybody's gonna jump in and start that fight and like
isolate.
Oh god, it's such a
It's
fucking
good for ISO like that.
It's such a good combo. Just he can pair this
disgusting.
with like it's so good. Anybody that's gonna dive the back line. Vi, I think, is another good one. You're getting to the target. Anybody who's gonna get that back line, Galio can be there, and it's fucking quick. He fucking flies in there, dog.
That's
range,
pretty gross.
Range is pretty good. 4,000, to 5,500. It's not fully global, but it's like TF alt.
Right. And it's just meant for this. Is why he's a mid laner, not a top laner. That way he can go to either lane and gank with it. So. If they made it global, you could put him anywhere on the map. It'd be too broken. Much like Shenalt, although Shenalt isn't broken, Shenalt's really good. It has a massive. I think it has. Does it have a longer cooldown than this? I don't know.
It's got to be like I think
over
it's like
3 minutes.
Oh wow.
200 seconds is pretty long.
Yes, That's 3.5 minutes, right?
Stand United.
Or 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Down. Let's see. Oh yeah, no. Stand United is the same.
200 seconds at level
200, 180, 160. So, okay.
Okay. Yeah, so really fucking long.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
That's Galio, man. Just go in and blow people up, dude.
All right.
And then, obviously, you know the question.
This is what everyone listens for.
Oh, 100%.
Our dog shit opinions on skins. It's got to be Birdio.
I agree. And then, honestly, kind of followed by his base skin.
But yeah, his base.
Not that the others are trash, but the base is so good.
It's very great.
I don't really care about Gatekeeper. Infernal is whatever. I don't think I've seen Dragon Guardian in game or Mythmaker's. I don't think I've seen Mythmaker either.
It just came out, but
yeah, and no one's playing the champion, so
no Birdio for sure. Just because his dance is a chicken dance.
Oh, I forgot about Debonair. Debonair's good too.
Debonair isn't bad. Yeah.
But Birdio, I think, is still better.
Just the sounds he makes. He makes a little chicken noise when he fucking does his Justice Punch. He does the chicken dance. He's just got a bucket of chicken wings.
I was gonna say he's got a bucket of chicken wings, bro.
Bro,
like,
I want some
the drumsticks. It doesn't get any better than that.
I just want some fucking Popeyes right now for dinner. If anybody's listening.
Nope.
Yeah. So definitely Birdio, or I can agree. Base is good.
Also, it's got a World's Chroma that's really good too.
Birdio?
The World's Early Bird, yeah. It's really good.
Oh, what the fuck? I didn't know. Oh, okay. I like
He's got the little blue ribbon on him. It's really good.
Well, that's Galio. Anything else to mention?
That's all I got for Gal, dude. Oh, I didn't notice one of his chromas for that skin has the cross spatulas on him. That's cool. The citrine chroma. Anyways, I'm sorry. That's Galio. He's a fun champion. Definitely takes a little bit of team coordination to operate at his highest level.
Most definitely. All right, so let's move on to Urgot.
Urgot. What's Urgot's? Wait, hold on. What was Galio's titles? His original title was
the Colossal or something like that.
His original title was the Sentinel's Sorrow, and now he is just says Galio. Oh, the Colossus. Okay, the Colossus.
It's just the Colossus. So now we got Urgot, the Dreadnought,
and we'll start off with Urgot, the Headsman's Pride. just his original. Quite disgusting. This in-game model was actually gross.
It's horrible.
It was gross. Like they did a good job on making him look like this undead, nasty fucking thing. It was disgusting. But all right, let's get right into it. His old passive.
Or was I say you want to? Let's see what Chat GPT.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Give me the Chat GPT. I forgot.
It's all good. Urgot is a ranged juggernaut champion in League of Legends, known for his powerful damage output and ability to tank damage. Urgot's playstyle revolves around being a durable frontliner that can lock down enemy champions and deal significant damage to them. Okay, we get it. He does damage. In the early game, Urgot excels at poking his opponent with his Q ability, Corrosive Charge, which deals damage and applies a debuff that amplifies damage from Urgot's other abilities. Oh, okay. He can also use his passive Purge to reduce incoming damage and regain health. Okay. Urgot players often look for opportunities to harass their opponents with these abilities while staying safe behind minions. As the game progresses, Urgot becomes a powerful teamfighter. His ultimate ability, Fear Beyond Death, allows him to execute low health enemies or drag them towards him. Oh, I didn't know there was a choice. Making it easier for his teammates to follow up with their own abilities. Urgot can also use his E ability, Disdain, to charge forward enemies and knock them back, or to escape from dangerous situations. Urgot is often built with items that enhance his tankiness and damage output. These items may include Black Cleaver, which shreds enemy armor and increases Urgot's mobility, and Death's Dance, which grants him additional sustain and damage reduction. Players may also opt for defensive items like Thornmail or Spirit Visage to enhance Urgot's survivability. Overall, Urgot's playstyle is focused on controlling the battlefield with his abilities, dealing significant damage, and soaking up damage from enemies. A skilled Urgot player can use their champion's strength to dominate the laning phase and become a formidable force in team fights.
True.
That
was actually maybe more accurate than Galio.
I don't think so. There's we'll get to it because I don't think his passive doesn't amp up damage or reduce damage. His Q doesn't amp up damage. It doesn't. True. Yeah, there's a few things. This one. I don't know. I felt like Galio's was a little bit cleaner.
You think so?
I used to play a lot of Urgot, so I'm kind of really familiar with what he does now. But
that's true. That's true.
Let's find out. All right.
All right. So, old Urgot. I almost said Galio. Old Urgot passive. Zon touched Bolt Augmenter.
Oh man, I did. Okay, the only thing I remember about old Urgot is his ult, and I can't even fully remember it. And this name already is fucking insane. So I'm actually excited to see. I haven't looked at. I'm stopping myself from scrolling down. I just want to see what these names are. This is nuts.
All right.
Zon Touch Bolt Augmenter.
Okay, Zon Touch Bolt Augmenter. Urgot's basic attack. Excuse me. Urgot's basic attacks and Acid Hunter, his Q, reduce the damage dealt by his target by 15% for 2.5 seconds. Okay. Pretty straightforward. Nothing else to say here. It does say that it did not affect true damage dealt by his target, and it didn't stack. Only when you hit it again, it just refreshed the debuff. His current passive, much better, much more exciting. I remember when these came out, we had a different name for it. It's called Echoing Flames. We call it Shotgun Knees. It's interesting. It has a specific cooldown. Let me read the skill, and then I'll go back and explain the cooldown. So, innate. Urgot's 6 legs each conceal a shotgun that covers an arc, together forming a full circle of cover around him. Each shotgun can fire once before incurring a unique cooldown. So those unique cooldowns start at 30 seconds and go down to 2.5 seconds based on level. You hit 2.5 seconds at level 13. Urgot's next basic attack on hit within the arc of a shotgun will cause it to fire in a cone, dealing 40 to 100% based on level, AD, plus 2 to 6% based on level of target's max health, physical damage to enemies hit, capped at 100 to 360 based on level against monsters. You get the most damage for the AD portion at level 15 is when it hits 100%. The max health damage for some reason is different. It caps off at 6% at level 13. So he's kind of a mid game monster.
I honestly, I will also. He
I
is
didn't realize
just. I think he's very strong level 1 too. Because if you whenever you get to his,
if you can get all those hits,
yeah, you just fucking walk someone down, and if you can get all 6 shotguns off, it's a fuck ton of damage.
It really is.
I remember when they were first talking about his rework and they mentioned shotgun knees. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Right.
So yeah, fucking, it's very unique. I will say that is very unique.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to his old Q. Acid Hunter. Active, Urgot files a missile in a line, dealing physical damage to the first enemy it hits, and refunding 20 mana if it kills its target. Acid Hunter can also directly target enemies affected by... we'll get to his E later. I'll mention that. The damage was 10 to 130 plus 85% AD. I don't remember it refunding mana on kills. That's interesting. But it was a very short cooldown. 2 seconds and 40 mana per cost. Okay. I just remember rushing Manamune on this guy because the single target damage was nuts.
Yeah, it's
especially with this. Especially when it gets, when you remember what it gets paired, what happens when you hit him with the E, but we'll get there in a minute. So current Q, Corrosive Charge. Active, Urgot launches a canister at the target location. Upon landing, it explodes after 0.3 seconds to deal physical damage to enemies hit and slow them for 1 1/4 seconds. Damage was 25 to 205 plus 70% AD, and the slow scaled from 45 to 65%.
Yeah,
very straightforward.
Not much else to say there. Pretty straightforward skill. We'll say more about it when I get back to the W. So, okay, we'll move on to Old Urgot W. Old Urgot W, Terror Capacitor. This one had kind of a long cooldown, 16 seconds at level 1, but 16 to 12. Active, Urgot shields himself for up to 5 seconds, also causing his basic attacks and Acid Hunter to slow his target for 1.5 seconds while the shield holds. Shield strength was 60 to 220 with an 80% AP ratio plus 8% max mana, which is why you built Manamune. The slow percentage was 20 to 40% based on rank. Like I said, it had a long cooldown. 16 seconds is quite a long cooldown, even for a shield. For a champion that can only shield himself. Not really much else to say on that. So we'll move on to his current W, Purge. This is probably his we call it a landmark skill. Like, this is what he's known for.
Is it? What about the ulti?
I think so. I mean, the ulti is important, but because of the way this functions, and let me read it off, and this is why I'll tell you why at the end. So passive. Urgot's other abilities mark enemy champions hit for 5 seconds. Only one enemy can be marked at a time. So that's what I was talking about with Corrosive Charge. So if you land a Corrosive Charge while this is active, it will force it to target that.
Yeah, it's much better
champion.
If you're fighting in minions and you need it to be targeted. There you go.
Right. Additionally, at maximum rank, Purge lasts indefinitely and becomes a toggled ability, and that is why I think it's like a keystone ability or like a landmark ability for him. Though I do agree his ulti is still rather important to his being, and the shotgun knees as well. Actually, in fact, he's probably got one of the most unique kits in the game. Anyways, active, Urgot equips his machine gun for 4 seconds, granting ghosting to minions and non-epic monsters around him, and autonomously firing at the nearest enemy at a fixed 3.0 attack speed, prioritizing marked enemy champions and refreshing the mark with every attack. While firing, Urgot is able to move and gains 40% slow resist, but his base movement speed is reduced by 125. Attacks with Purge deal modified physical damage, with a minimum threshold of 50 against monsters and minions, and apply on-hit and on-attack damage at 50% effectiveness, but they cannot critically strike. Urgot cannot perform attacks while unable to... What? Urgot cannot perform attacks while unable to declare basic attacks. Okay, so if you stun him, like actually stun on a root, this will stop firing. That makes sense. Like if you couldn't auto attack, then his machine gun's not going off either.
Right.
Purge can be recast after a half second within the duration and does so automatically afterwards. The recast ends Purge. The cooldown is 12 to 0, has no cast time, has a static cooldown of a half second. It's got an effect radius of 490, so that makes sense. And then his modified physical damage is 12 plus 20 to 34% AD. So it doesn't deal, like, each individual hit doesn't deal a whole lot of damage, but it's firing at a much faster rate at three attacks per second. So you're really, if you take that modified physical damage, because that should be per attack, you're looking, I think, at 36 plus whatever 34%, right, per second. Whatever 34% AD times 3 is, that's what you're gonna get.
It's fair. I mean, he's attacking so quickly, but it would be really OP if it was like 100% of his actual AD.
Oh, sure. But you can pop shotgun knees with this.
Exactly.
Which is what makes it disgusting. Yeah. Because he's a giant. He's got crab legs or spider legs, however you want to call them. Like, the coolest thing, I think, and it's not like flashy, but I just think it's like a fun thing that you can do with Urgot, is like you just circle your target. And like late game, when it's just on a toggle, and if you can keep circling your target as they're running away, just keep kind of following them.
Well, it's just
you can
tough because
continuously pop those knees. He's so slow, right?
Yeah. So
right,
I mean,
right. But if you can do it, if you can pull it off or whatever, it's cool. Even if you're hitting minions or hitting multiple targets and you're in a team fight and you're kind of trying to stay on the outer edge, if you can get even just one rotation around, you're popping all of the shotgun knees. So yeah, like I said, I think it's a pretty landmark ability for him. Then again, like I said, though, all the other ones are pretty landmark too. So
I just remember when he first got reworked, he was kind of dog shit because it didn't used to always be infinite at max rank.
Right. It also used to give you a shield.
Yeah, they swapped that to the E.
Yep.
But yeah, it was kind of like, what else? What happens when, because it would just it wouldn't go infinite. But now it's great. You hit level 9, you have your Titanic Hydra. If you're, that's kind of what you do to wave clear. And yeah, you just run into people and fucking fight them. And then if you're running press the attack, it just eating their ass.
Seriously.
It's a dope ability.
It is.
All right, moving on to his old E. Noxian Corrosive Charge. Okay. Active. Urgot launches a corrosive charge to the target location, dealing physical damage to all enemies over 5 seconds. All enemies hit over 5 seconds and reducing their armor for the duration. The physical damage per second was 15 to 59 plus 12% bonus AD. And then total, if you multiply by 5 per second, 75 to 295 plus 60% bonus AD. And then the armor reduction, scale from 12 to 20% of target's armor. So
there you go.
Is it? Hold on. Okay, so then moving back up to the Q, the old Q, Acid Hunter can also directly target enemies affected by Corrosive Noxian Charge, passing over all other enemies to hit them directly and gaining increased range. So it was a lock-on, and nothing blocked it.
Right. It looked funny, too, because you'd see these little things just flying over the top.
All right. Moving on to his current E. Disdain. There we go. Active. Urgot grants himself a shield for 4 seconds. After the cast time, Urgot dashes in the target direction, though not through terrain, dealing physical damage to enemies he passes through, knocking them aside and stunning them for 1 second. Urgot will stop upon hitting an enemy champion, stunning them for 1.5 seconds, and after a quarter second, also flinging them to the location 100 units behind him, though not through terrain. Purge can be cast during the dash. So, this is what I was saying. Level 1, if you take this is usually what I would take at level 1. If you could catch someone and you dash, you get the stun, you flip them over, and then immediately you hit them with the shotgun knee.
Shotgun knees, baby.
Fat fucking burst of damage.
And the only way to get away from it is to go through more shotgun knees or run the other direction. Run the direction behind him so you don't get hit by shotgun knees. So it puts you at a severe disadvantage at level 1 if you get flung over your head.
I want to say, hold on, does it... let me see. I'm looking at the notes here. I could have sworn at one point, when you fling someone over your head, if there wasn't a shotgun knee ready behind you, it would instantly prepare one.
It may have used to do that, and they may have taken that off.
Facing his victim. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Urgot turns around when tossing an enemy, so you're facing him, and then once we get to the ulti, that'll be important.
Yes.
But yeah, so go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say one of the things we didn't mention is that his legs stay static. His body turns on his base, so your front leg is always your front leg, and your back leg is always your back leg. If that makes sense. Yeah, so even if he turns around facing you, he's not turning his legs to reload shotgun knees. It's like, no, the shotgun knees are static.
That would be
right.
So broken.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, so shield strength, 55 to 135 plus 135% bonus 80 plus 13.5 bonus health, and then the damage it deals is 90 to 210 plus with 100% bonus 80 ratio. This is what you max second. The Q is kind of useless. The Q is kind of a shitty ability, if I'm being honest.
Terrible ability.
It slows, sure.
Slow is shitty.
Back when Runes Reforged came out, and no one there wasn't like Conqueror or anything, and I just remember a lot of top laners would just have to go Comet, and you would just max Q with him and then go Comet, and it was kind of shitty. But he's great now. So.
Yes, I was trying to see. I don't see where it says he ever had one instantly ready.
I just remember, maybe it's not.
It may have been a thing that just was never put on the actual. I'm just looking.
No, whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay. All right, and on to the worst ability that was ever in the game, and we talked about Jarvan's shield being awful. Think about hyperkinetic position reverser. Without even reading you what the ability does, you just traded places with the other fucking person, but you reduced damage while you were doing it. It was really weird, and you could really only use it if you're trying to set up for a gank, and it wasn't very good. It was the dumbest fucking ultimate. It felt like
flash
it had,
baby.
Yeah, it was so fucking stupid. All right, active. Urgot grants himself damage reduction for 5 seconds and channels for 1 second, suppressing the target enemy champion for the duration. Upon completing the channel, Urgot and his target blink to each other's locations, allowing Urgot to ignore unit collision for 1 second, and slowing the target by 40% for 3 seconds, and causing nearby enemies to flee for 1.5 seconds, excluding his target. Damage reduction was 30 to 50%.
Bro, this ability just makes no fucking sense with the rest of his kit.
Right. It didn't make any fucking sense. He didn't have a dash. If he had a dash at this point, it might make sense. That's kind of what they did with his new E, right? With Disdain. Is that they're like, okay, well, we're getting rid of hyperkinetic position reverser.
Dude, I just remember the few times he was playing, Bjergsen would play him.
Oh my god.
The fucking casters would have the heart, just imagine having to say hyperkinetic position reverser every fucking time.
Or Zontouch Bolt Augmenter, the passive to reduce fucking, stupid.
Alright, let's move on to, in my opinion, one of my favorite names, ability names.
It's so good. Fear Beyond Death, his new ulti. Active. Urgot fires a chem drill in the target direction that impales the first enemy champion hit, dealing physical damage, and leashing the target for 4 seconds, during which they are revealed and slowed by 0 to 75% based on target's missing health. Fear Beyond Death can be recast if the leash target is below 25% of their max health, and does so automatically if the chem drill would kill the target. The ability is cast again while the target was above the threshold, and it is then brought within it, or the target is within the threshold at the end of the duration. Okay, that was fucking a weird sentence. Basically, you execute people under 25% health.
Right, and you can either recast it, or after the 4 seconds, if they're still under 25%, it would automatically yank him in.
Right. Recast Mercy. Urgot launches chains at the leash target, and then channels for 1.5 seconds once they latch on. During this time, he reels them toward him, suppressing them, revealing them, rendering them untargetable, and preventing them from taking damage from other sources. If the target is near Urgot when the chains connect, they are pushed up to 1,000 units away and based on their proximity to him. This channel cannot be interrupted by crowd control. You know what it can be interrupted by? Oranges. Fucking Gangplank oranges.
Oh, yeah.
And I think QSS too.
Yeah.
Upon completing the channel, the target is executed. If the execution is successful, He fears nearby enemies for 1.5 seconds, during which they are slowed by 75%. Fear Beyond Death's recast can be used while affected by cast inhibiting crowd control. So this one, I think it's like the whole screen is the fucking like if you're all the way zoomed out. Yeah, I think the whole screen. And then once you're latched on, you could be literally anywhere to pull them in. Like they could be fucking, they could have teleported away on a Rise ulti and you can still pull them in. So
you yoink them back. Yep.
Oh, it's the coolest fucking animation. Like even when you're dying though, you see the fucking chain just wrap around the corners of your screen. You're like, no, it's so fucking good.
Just the like grinding, like when he gets pulled in, it goes and it fucking like explodes. Is super satisfying. You can get some crazy fucking plays. Like, sure, you're gonna execute the target, but then you could fucking flash and get a 5-man fear.
It actually is a game breaker if you can get that fear off. The execute fear, like flash into like a team fight and just spread the team away from you. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's it's one of my favorite abilities. It's so fucking really brutal, and it's fucking great.
It's really good. There's like I'm looking at the details tab. There are a million fucking details here.
Yeah, a lot of interactions.
A million, and I don't even want to read them because they're fucking ridiculous. So
all you got to know is, a pirate can fucking orange out of this.
A pirate can orange out,
and the Death Realm.
Tryndamere. And the Death Realm.
Right. Okay. Tryndamere. Yeah. Anybody who has a undying or whatever the fuck.
Anivia and Zac will just hit their passives. Kog'Maw still gets to hit a Cathian Surprise. Sion still gets Glory and Death. Karthus still gets Death Defied. I think that's all I got there for that. So, the question, I have the answer. There's only one correct answer.
I know what you're gonna say, and yeah, I agree. It's Crab God.
It's Giant Enemy Crab God.
It's Crab God. Like, just the sheer like fucking scale of how big he is just incredible. It's so good.
The old splash art's fucking hilarious.
I don't even want to look at it. It's so gross.
It's gross, but it's very like Creature of the Black Lagoon-y. He's got like the girl over his shoulder or whatever. But the new splash art is so like he's in front of a is that a battleship? Like I don't even know what that is.
Like a cargo ship
or a battleship. Yeah. Big fucking ship, and you just see how insanely enormous he is. Definitely the best fucking skin. He's supposed to be a kaiju, I guess. So
I will say all of his skins are pretty good. Even Pajama Guardian as a meme.
Oh, that was great.
It's fucking funny.
That came out of the fans wanting Star Guardian, right?
Yeah.
That was good. Battlecast is great. I do like Butcher. I think Butcher's really cool too.
Yeah.
He got that chainsaw in his hand. I don't think I've seen really anybody use Fright Knight, but Urgot hasn't really been relevant since that skin
Fright
came
Knight
out,
is awesome as Oogie Boogie. It's just
right.
It
seems cool to me.
It's a great one.
That's all I got.
That's it, guys. That's all I got in Galio. I think. I wanted to see who we doing next week because I think
the next one we got is Fortune and Sona.
Oh wow! So that's gonna be maybe we do 3 next week because those probably don't.
Fortune, yeah, she has just a small
rework. We have
Sona had a
Swain.
Oh, we can't do that because Swain's is huge.
Okay, so next week will be a really short episode.
Would be short, yeah. Sona Swain Misfortune Sona because Swain's got a big overhauls like Urgot had and Galio actually.
Excuse me, you guys. Thanks for listening. As always, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, rate everything. Hit the in the bio wherever you're listening or watching right now. Hit the link tree. Come join the Discord. Check out the other links to Twitter, Instagram, yada yada yada. Come suggest some ideas for us because when sometimes I'll admit sometimes in between patch weeks it's kind of hard to come up with content and we're like
it gets rough.
It could get rough. We're always throwing ideas back and forth at each other. We usually make it, but
right. We would rather submit a good video than a half-baked video. So that kind of comes down to that as well.
Yeah. So come on in. We don't bite. Play some games with us, and we'll have some fun. So until next week, enjoy your weekend. Good luck in your games. Hopefully you guys are winning more LP because I've been seeing
Yeah.
people losing like 40 LP with the changes. So good luck. So yeah, we'll see you next week, guys.
Later.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to like the video and sub to the channel if you haven't already. Click right here to see the previous episode of the According to Low Elo podcast. Click right here to see the most recent gameplay video. Thanks again.